Started entrepreneurship in college during my sophomore year. Literally started searching how to make money online. So we sold out of our inventory, like through ads, SEO, all that stuff within like the first 6 months. A couple months of a break from that because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. It was my senior year. Yeah. And then COVID happened, and then I was like, all right, back to it, back to work, because I got all the time. To kind of backtrack, we don't work with any SaaS company. Like, they need to have product market fit and have at least, we pitch at least $1 million to $20 million in annual recurring revenue.
Also, these are bigger SaaS companies.
Welcome to episode 50 of New Money Talks.
Yeah. Perfect. That was good.
So we got Dylan Cohen, co-founder of YAMU Media. Am I pronouncing that right?
YAMU Media, yeah.
Which is basically a marketing agency for SaaS companies, which we'll dive a little bit deeper into because our audience is mostly e-commerce guys, so it'll be a little bit of a different territory. But some people are getting sick of e-commerce, so they want to hear some other stuff.
Everyone wants to hear about SaaS.
Other ways to make money. They want to hear about the companies that have a lot of money and the companies that can help have a little bit of that flow to them, But so I guess we'll backtrack, talk to us a little bit about your background story, just like how you got into entrepreneurship in general.
Yeah, tell people who you are, what you do, and all the above, and we'll start asking questions.
So originally,
first and foremost, sorry to cut you off. We met at our local gym, not too far away. So funny story, he was listening to a podcast in the sauna, right? We're in the sauna, and he's like, "Do you want me to turn this off?" I was like, "Is that the Google Ads guy?" Because I've seen
which one.
You wouldn't know him, but I see this guy's ads all the time, and they're like
Neil Patel. I don't know who that is.
I don't know. I see this guy's ads all the time. They're really cringy. He seems super nerdy, but those are usually the best guys who have the best media buying information. So I hear the back of his voice, and he's like, "You want me to turn this off?" I was like, "I feel like I know who that dude is. Is that some Google Ads guy?" He's like, "Well, I think the guy he's speaking to is," right? So anyways, we met in a sauna. We started talking about how I have an agency, he has an agency.
Dripping profusely in sweat.
Just hit it off. And I happened to be at the gym a little bit later that day because I usually go earlier. So
Kyle's naked in the sauna.
So
talking agency.
Over 20 minutes dying in the sauna.
The stars just aligned. So we were like, let's get this man on the podcast because it sounds like you got some cool stuff to share.
And honestly, different than e-commerce too.
Yeah, even though you have dabbled around a little bit in e-commerce as well.
You started in e-commerce, so tell us the story.
Take it away.
Take it away. Sorry.
Yeah. So, started entrepreneurship in college during my sophomore year. Literally started searching how to make money online,
as everyone does.
Yeah, that's a good starting point.
Kind of read a couple books. The biggest one probably the Robert Kiyosaki book. I forgot.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, that's
the best one.
I feel like that's the blueprint for everybody when they're starting out.
It's a good book.
Then kind of came across Amazon FBA and was like, what is that? What does that even mean? Didn't even know there was an opportunity to sell on Amazon. I didn't even know who was selling products on Amazon. I was like,
you're just I have a Prime subscription, but
I'm buying it and it's coming to my door. I don't know anything in between. So, looked into that, started doing a bunch of research, and then, so I have a twin brother. So it was me and him at the time, and we went 50-50 on it. And, from there, we were working just a delivery job, working as a barista, and then kind of what are we going to do? We've done as much research as possible. Are we going to actually just take this leap? Are we going to start the LLC? Are we going to actually put our own money down for it? And we were like, yeah, so why not? So we did all the research. I was telling you about Greg Mercer and Jungle Scout. Luckily, there was a free. He did a free webinar series. It was a show. I think it was 22 episodes or something in it, and he documented the entire process, from doing product research to doing taxes to negotiating with suppliers to doing marketing to images, literally everything that there is to know about Amazon FBA and how to start it. He did it and he gave it away for free on YouTube. So I was a gold mine, and because I was trying to find as many how-to videos and just couldn't find anything. So then eventually just literally copy that model, purely cut and paste, almost the exact same email template that he would send to suppliers, was doing that. Sold one product so started the journey of sophomore year. First product went live summer going into actually at the summer going to junior year. That's when we launched the first product.
Can you talk about your first product?
Yeah, so typically Amazon sellers don't talk about the first product. I'm out of it, so I don't care.
Well,
So
I think they're better than dropshippers. Dropshippers are even worse than Amazon. No, they don't like talking about products.
Yeah. So ours was felt letterboards. So they're like the signs that it's like a wood frame, and then in it is like felt. You can post like letters on it. So we actually started doing some content on social media. We were pretty consistent. We were doing like probably a post or two a day on social. And just trying to get some traction from that. The problem is we launched, so we didn't know how to like analyze a market at all. Like I didn't know, there's like the software that we bought for $90 that told us all the things that we needed to know. And they were like, don't sell into a market that has like, high competition or, too high of demand, whatever. Broke all that rules, sold into a market that had high competition and high demand, and realized that there was no way for us to differentiate and stand out. The same time, we had debated between two products. That one that we ended up, the felt letterboards, and this other one, which is like now they blew up, the like woven laundry basket things.
Okay.
Very low demand as far as like how many people were buying it, but even lower competition. But we were like, I don't know, there's not many people buying it. So we ended up going with the felt letterboards. Mm-hmm. That didn't sell out. That was bad. Then a year later, we're moving on to the second product now, and got into a similar situation where the market for the product that we ended up selling the second time was almost exactly the same as the market for the product that we did not sell the first time. Mm-hmm. We went back to the product that we didn't sell the first time, and it had blown up in 1 year. Wow. So we're like, this is proof that this model of like estimated, demand, estimated competition, it's like that helped. That was like the foundation of like learning how to understand like markets, trends, that sort of stuff. Because like seeing that was like, all right, now I know why it didn't work. Yeah. So I'm not gonna make the mistake. So then second product did the same thing, repeat the process, sold out completely. But this is why I hate fulfillment. I think I'm just triggered by like trauma.
I'm curious.
So we had calculated all of the numbers. We had everything down packed. Sent it to the fulfillment centers on Amazon, and there's no humans that work at that's why I asked you, like, is it you doing it or like a bot? So there's no humans doing it. So the plastic on our product was like half an inch too big for the certain like size parameter that we were in for Amazon. So if our fees were like $5 for like, a 4x4 product,
also
for
the
example.
Fee structure just changed.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, I can only imagine what it is now. Good luck to all Amazon sellers out there. But so if like, let's say the size parameter is like 4x4 and that was like a $5 fee, ours was maybe like 4.5x4, like just over. But that tripled our fees. Jeez. So we sold out of our inventory, like through ads, SEO, all that stuff within like the first 6 months. But we were losing money on every sale that we made.
When did you find that out?
When I checked the account and saw that like we were getting
like 3 months in or after.
No, it was
sold
soon.
Out?
It was pretty soon. Like it was like
you just kept going with it.
Why didn't you just like increase the price?
Because we would do that and then we would sell nothing per day. So we were like, all right, let's see.
Might as well know the inventory.
So the plan, the plan at the time was, so Amazon recalculates your fees the more you set, like every time you send a new product to Amazon, they recalculate the fees. Mm-hmm. So the plan was, let's sell out of our inventory, try to recuperate as much money as possible, work, we were doing like part-time jobs, going to school, all that stuff, and buy more inventory. The next round of inventory, we'll tell the suppliers to cut extra on the on the thing, and then the fees will correct. The issue is it was just way more expensive than we thought, but relative to like, we also didn't, again, we were in college, like $10,000 when you're in college is like a lot of money. So like if it was going to be like 10 grand, I think it was like probably even $4,000 to do it. But like we had
to do what? To get
to just buy more inventory. Yeah, just buy more inventory and send it to Amazon. But we didn't know anything about like taking out loans or like you mentioned, like credit cards.
Like,
APR. No. It's gonna be a viral clip where you just said, I know it is. You said $10,000 is like a lot of money or not a lot of money in college, some shit like that.
No, it is a lot of money in college.
No, because he said some stupid clip that went viral. He's like 20K is not a lot of money.
I was like, it's amazing how many people get 20K a month is a lot of money.
Got like a million views on
got
Instagram.
So mad
I got triggered.
Yeah.
But no, but that's true. When you're in college, like everything is a lot
Yeah.
more than it is in
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah, we were bootstrapping everything. Like him and I were working, going to school. It was like, and we had like money saved, and also just like not that far along as far as like being financially literate. So like you make a lot of stupid mistakes, which is how you become financially literate.
Yeah.
So
actually, though,
yeah,
you become financially literate by making mistakes,
by losing a lot of money,
not by going to a college class or a high school class that talks about it, because none of them
I used
do.
to get pissed at my professor. I would hate. At one point, I would just be in class like, "Why am I here? Like, you guys aren't teaching me anything."
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, so didn't know about like taking out loans or credit or any of that stuff, and we're just like, we have literally no more money to continue
Just,
this.
threw in the towel.
But yeah, threw in the towel. But we've learned so many marketing skills. Like we sold out our product in like, it was not like it was easy selling the product.
Yeah.
Like I never checked my phone and saw zero. And I was like, all right, like zero sales. So I was like, all right, we got something out of it. So then we were like, we went to school, University of Buffalo. So we were like, how can we take these skills and, help out local businesses even for free? Cause we're still young. Like we weren't like really trying to make a lot of money. Like, obviously we want to make money, but we also knew that we had a lot more, I guess,
like
shit to eat. And like, we had to like grind a little bit more before we could like earn that much money. So, that's when, so at the same time, like parallel to while this is happening, my partner, is also, he graduated a year, before me. He also went to the University of Buffalo. We were in the same business fraternity, and he coincidentally also had an Amazon business. So like before we stopped Amazon, we were kind of collaborating, just like sharing ideas, and just like, because we didn't know anybody doing, like I went all the way up to, from Buffalo to Toronto just to find people in like an Amazon FBA group that I joined on Facebook, just to like network and see, somebody else who knows how to speak the same language,
And that's the best when you find that group of people.
Oh my God, it was one of the best. Yeah. So worth it. So worth it. So he was doing Amazon as well with his partner, and he really was more of the marketing guy. He, when he was 14 years old, his mom became, just a owner of a dance school. She went from becoming like the janitor to the owner, because the original owner just kind of like, was like, I'm done with this. I don't know the full story. And so his mom didn't really have that much business experience. So he, at 14 years old, learned like Facebook ads. So he had been doing it for so long by the time like, I met him.
14 years old, learning Facebook ads. I wish.
Yeah. So, so he was helping me out with that. And he also wanted to help businesses, like local businesses around Buffalo, just like, again, just do marketing, build websites, work for free, don't care about getting paid, like just all that stuff. So fast forward about, a couple months, decided to stop doing Amazon, and he had already been helping out businesses, and he had been a part of a couple startups. So he got involved in like the startup community in Buffalo, started to slowly build his network. And, I would just kind of help him with a bunch of projects. And then kind of I took a couple months of a break from that, because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. It was my senior year. Yeah. And then COVID happened, and then I was like, all right, back to it, like back to work, because I got all the time. I was getting that stimulus check, so I can get paid to literally just pursue this full time. If it doesn't work, like whatever, I'll figure that out later. I don't really have a plan B, so
you'll do what everyone else does.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Figure that out. So then that's kind of when YAMU started to really like take form, and we really started to see where our skills lie. So like the Google ad side, the search side, the advertising, SEO, that's really like the bread and butter of what we do. And then there's like these different components, like email marketing, we can do all this other stuff that we kind of had to learn just based on like demand, like people wanting it. So we were like, we'll do whatever you want. Like
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. So a bunch of trial and error with small businesses, and then eventually just decided that, again, his network was building in the startup community. So in order to do the things that we want, like work with really cool tech companies that are just doing like awesome shit, let's just double down on SaaS companies that are startups backed, seed round, Series A, Series B, stuff like that.
Niche down. I think that's an important thing. A lot of people watching are like, they're getting into a business. If it's servicing based specifically, they're like, well, I want to run a marketing agency.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, who do you want to do that for? They're like, well, I don't care. Anyone who will pay me. Like, I'll go to a local Chinese business. I'll go to like this laundromat, like literally anyone that'll pay, like e-commerce brand, anyone. But I think niching down makes it a lot easier. What's up, New Money Talks fam? Have you ever wanted a personal sales force for your e-commerce brand? If so, you probably haven't heard of the new kid on the block, Feel.tech. Feel is an e-commerce selling solution for D2C brands that want to provide interactive purchase experiences to their customers and streamline the actual sales cycle of a buyer. With AI-driven product recommendations, try before you buy features, and live assistance and support, FieldTech users often see a substantial lift in their customer AOV, a decrease in their acquisition costs, and an improvement in their conversion rate. Imagine you're buying a new laptop and Apple offered a virtual live experience in which they can demo the product for you, show you all of the specs and features that you want, and answer all of your questions simultaneously. Not only would that probably increase your likelihood of buying, but it'll also actively decrease the amount of customer concerns that Apple is now going to receive. Now you're probably thinking, with a solution that's this good, probably costs a lot of money. Wrong. FieldTech actually only charges a percentage of the new sales that they bring you that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten without them. So if you run a brand that could use a virtual sales force or that wants to offer virtual sales experiences to their customers, then check out the link below this video or visit feel.tech. And as always, make sure to mention that New Money Talks sent you so you can get that New Money Talks white glove onboarding experience. Now let's get back to the podcast here, because you get good at it once and you have that case study or that testimonial, that framework, and now you just market that to everyone else. Is that kind of what you guys did? Or
I mean, it was a little similar. It was similar. So we literally, there was nobody that we would say no to. Like, we would work with anybody. So in doing that, you realize that some businesses you just can't serve because you don't even know what they do, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of trial and error, and then eventually you do figure out what works. And you have a couple successes, but we would honestly just take, even if it was like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this at like face value, but we would take like if a certain SEO strategy worked for like, you know, a local business, we would try to emulate a similar model for a SaaS company. Obviously, it's very completely different industries, completely different, you know, customer that they're serving, all that. But like, if we remove that, what was like the core of what we did? We did really good keyword research for that person. We did a really good customer discovery for that person. We really understood the customer's pain points, and we really understood like the goals of the company. Whether it was SEO or ads, doesn't matter. Same thing. Like, as far as what I'm talking about, what did we do really well? And let's just try to now change the industry, change the person. The difference is now it was working for local businesses, but as a company, a local business is not going to spend $10K or more on marketing. Like, they're going to spend like, $500. I got a couple $100 I could throw to ads. I'm like, good luck getting a click with $100 in some markets. Like, so now that's where like we can't. I still love local. I would love to work with local businesses and eventually have a branch in YAMU that could only serve local businesses, just because like it's a passion. But like, the local businesses aren't going to be that's going to be like a nice to have thing. So
it's not something that pays the bills.
So it's like, what's the next thing that we like doing that can actually pay us and feed us and like help us, you know, pay our employees? And that was like the startups that have money and need to spend it. Like, they need to spend their budgets because they have investors who are going to be asking them for it. So that's where we kind of found our niche.
Yeah, that's cool. I think a lot of people, they go after what they're taught has worked for other people. So you might have someone who is crushing it with like a local lead gen company or something like that. But then when you go and try to do it, well, just so happens that in your area, the companies you're going after just have no budget. And so a lot of people will bend over backwards for companies that want to pay less and less, instead of just going after the companies that are like literally need to spend that budget, you know? And it makes the world of a difference, because you have the exact same service. It's just one of them is a company that it's like, it makes more sense with. Another one, it's not. You're bending over backwards. You're lowering your price. You're discounting it. You're having to figure out 100 other things. And it's like, this one keeps calling your name. It makes a hell of a lot more sense.
And it's also, the money is one thing, but it's also like, you know, local businesses, typically they're not that far along with tech. And so like, another interest and passion of myself and my partner is like, we just love cool products. Like, we love cool technologies, and, you know, being able to work with SaaS companies is like, you know, there's hundreds of different cool things popping up. Like, so being able to talk to people who are like, you know, now with AI, it's ridiculous. We have a couple AI clients, and it's just insane to see what's coming and like what they're working on, and not just seeing it, but also being able to be like at the front lines to a degree, because there's
so many that are popping up
it's
these days.
crazy, man. I mean, I was just at SaaSter 2 weeks ago in San Francisco, which is, I don't know if you know much about. I know you know SaaSter, but it's a big SaaS conference, one of probably the biggest SaaS conference. And this one is in San Francisco, and every single booth is like AI. If they're not if they're not selling AI, then AI is a part of their service.
It's like a rapper.
They're doing something
AI
in AI.
rapper or whatever.
Oh my God, man! The amount of AI companies I spoke to, it was insane.
They all have money.
They all have money, but honestly, they're not that much different from each other.
They're all the same.
No, I was gonna say, what's funny, like, is most companies have used AI in the last like decade. It's just now they just talk about it. Like every company to some degree, like Google is AI. Like really search engines are it's literally AI. Like your phone apps, half of that shit is AI. Like it involves some form of that. It's just now companies are marketing it because it's the trend. Yeah,
and the way, in my opinion, I don't think it's obviously a bubble. And even the founders I spoke to at SaaSer agree that it's a bubble. Yeah. But the ones that, in my opinion, are gonna be able to move past or move through this, the bubble crashing, are the ones where they're not necessarily leading with, "Hey, we're selling AI." It's like, we have this product that does this thing. Oh, and by the way, how do we do it? We have this one feature that uses AI to like help it make it easier.
We plugged in ChatGPT's API and like
pretty much.
Yeah. But it's like, you're not selling ChatGPT's API. You're selling a different problem that people actually need solving. But like AI is just a tool that you're using versus like the entire, like, look at all this AI.
Yeah, and at that point you're really just selling like better prompts behind the scenes that nobody sees.
Yeah. Or it's like, I'm so far, I am not a developer, and I can't, I know it literally is, but like, it's a whole other language to me. I can't even, understand half of what my clients talk about. Yeah. But I could like follow along because I know like, oh, you do this thing. That's cool. Yeah. I don't know how, but like, I think like the whole, I forgot where I was going with this, but
you know what I was gonna say is we got a couple of SaaS companies we can send your way that
I would love
that are a lot of service enablers.
I'm curious though, because you started in e-commerce, right? Yeah. Why did you go to the e-commerce agency route? Why did you do SaaS?
So we did actually. We actually did have a couple. We don't have any more, but we did have a couple e-commerce companies. Literally the only reason why we didn't continue is because times are changing, and now you really need to be heavily, in my opinion, content focused, like video content. Posting 2-3 times a day if you're doing if you have a product, and we are a completely remote team. I have zero, other than doing my bootstrapped, ugly, but like they worked Amazon images. I'm not someone to go and create videos edit videos. Like, it's not going to be good.
I'm curious though. So like, usually we're like a seed stage, like a Series A company, right? Yeah. It's like, what do you do for them? I'm very curious. Like when they hire, like they hire you for X amount of $1,000 a month. Yeah. Like in their head, what do they think they're going to accomplish with it? I'm just curious for myself too.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So, and the answer is it depends, but
obviously, yeah. So all this stuff depends.
So to kind of backtrack, we don't work with any SaaS company. Like they need to have product market fit and have at least, we pitch at least $1 million to $20 million in annual recurring revenue.
Also, these are bigger SaaS companies.
They're bigger SaaS companies, but we have a lot of clients that are like in the $500K range in annual revenue. Yeah. And typically the main problems that they have is they have funding and they need to scale their customer acquisition in a pretty way that looks nice to investors. They actually don't care that much about profit, which is nice because it's just more aggressive because, again, the investors know that they're not getting profit in the first, couple
10 years.
Yeah. So typically what we see is they have a really cool product that they have, couple customers that they're serving really well. And they have some word of mouth going. They have some organic coming in from the website, but like not enough to really scale. So we kind of take so the first thing we do is we analyze their entire ideal customer profile or ICP. Yep. understand like who they are, understand their product, understand their sales process, and then essentially build out the entire customer journey from the minute they see, the first top of funnel piece of content all the way down to when they're getting retargeted with like an ad to book a demo. And there's obviously different creative ways to skip a couple steps that we've been testing, which has been really cool. Those are like what people call like the growth hacks. So essentially just scale their customer acquisition online. But it's not like we're going to get you your initial customers. Like you got to figure that out on your own. And then when you're trying to scale, that's when you come work.
Are you working more like B2B companies?
Yeah, mostly B2B. We do have some B2C SaaS. We could serve B2C SaaS, but mostly B2B because again, maybe it's not even just e-commerce. It's also any B2C. Like consumers are just on social. The reason why we work with one of our B2C SaaS companies is because they built out an entire content studio in their office. So like they post TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And when we need new creative for them, because they're a guitar learning SaaS company, which is all content. Like you're gonna need it's music. Like what else are you gonna do if it's not creating content? And they're the founders. Brilliant, and he's like ahead of the game on that. So when we need content from them, it's like a couple days, a week turnaround time because it's all in house. Yeah. So that is where it works for us. But with e-commerce, it's just we never had a client that could produce that content, and even if we had one now, probably still just we're just so in love with. We've already like developed like a process.
So it's like a lot of B2B companies. Like I'm assuming like the North Star is like booking calls for these people type of thing.
Booking calls, but also, we're not a fan of the whole, let's just get a shit ton of leads and oh my God, look how amazing we are. Like it's getting sales. Like we'll take far less lead volume if it results in more sales.
Just like better people through the funnel.
Yeah, better quality. And there's ways. So a lot of clients that we work with are traumatized by past agencies that will do like, give me your name, give me your email. Oh my God, look at all these leads I got. And it's like, half of them are spam. Yeah. But like creating more, and this kind of goes against a lot of standard marketing best practices where they're like, your form should have like less is more. Like you want to get no barriers to entry. It's like when you're a SaaS company and you got a sales team and like every hour needs to be going towards the right thing, like talking to the right people. Like you do not want your sales team talking to shitty prospects who are just like not even close to who you want to be speaking to.
Yeah. So you add a little bit of friction.
We create that friction. We filter it out. We do like leads. I don't know how familiar you guys are. Like maybe you're more familiar with like HubSpot.
Yeah, HubSpot.
Like a CRM. We do like lead scoring on the CRM. Create like segmented lists, and we really like qualify people before we even
So like how long are these engagements usually with these clients?
So everything is honestly month to month.
Okay. Because you can't get all that done in a month.
No. So that's another thing too. So we don't like we don't hide anything from our clients. Like
because like literally, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. I feel like if I were to hire you and I was like a SaaS company, you told me this stuff. It's like, well, that's gonna take 3 months.
It might take more than
4,
that.
6. You know what I mean?
And that's where we are. Like we don't play gimmicks with people. We're like very upfront and very transparent from the beginning. Like from the first prospect call that we have before they even become before they even see a
pretty much if you don't have the money, like don't even.
Literally, we were on a call today and we said to them like we are not like this is our package if you want to do SEO. If you want to do SEO and ads, we recommend the SEO and ads because then we can start doing like more creative remarketing and stuff. All the fun stuff, but like. Don't do this if you can't spend this amount
for like a year.
For at least 6 months because we're pretty good. So like we'll say 6 months, but like to set the right expectation, expect no results and spend this much in 6 months. But like obviously we're gonna try to do do everything we can.
Even SEO takes at least like 3, 4, 5 months to
work. It does. We've seen, but there's also so we set that expectation. Like if you're gonna do SEO, like we'll see you next year as far as results.
Yeah, literally.
And if you like hit KPIs sooner, then it's like, oh, we're awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. Now there are some ways to hit KPIs sooner with SEO with AI now because
like what? I'm curious. Give us some sauce.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I was reading this. Google said that they don't screen away against AI content. Then I saw another post that says Google's bullshitting. They don't even know if it's AI content. So there's like those two perspectives to look at it. With that being said, we used to do, let's just say we put together a proposal. We were doing.
What is up, New Money Talks fam? Super excited to hop on here and shout out our amazing sponsor, Melio. They're an amazing hassle-free solution for businesses to streamline payments and get paid quickly. We love these guys. They're super simple and easy to use. You can pay your vendors your way with either bank transfer or credit card. No setup fees, and they even offer free ACH. Your security really matters to them. They're extremely secure. You can sync all your Melio accounts with all your accounting software that helps you save time and reduce errors. They're amazing because they go global. You can make international payments to over 80 plus countries. Jeez, these guys are amazing. You can use your mobile app to even do payments. Oh my gosh, I can literally do this on my phone. God, I love these guys. And also they work with thousands of businesses that already use them. So honestly, you could try it for free. Melio, they're the go-to for all payments, international or domestic. We love them. And look today, go down below, click on the link to streamline all your business payments today. Go to go.melio.com/NMT. If you haven't already, check these guys out. They're the best in the industry. Now, back to the podcast.
20 hours a month in content for SEO and like 20 hours for link building, 20 hours for whatever, for technical shit. That 20 hours would probably give us 4 posts previous to AI.
Like blogs or whatever?
Yeah, blogs, website. It depends on the strategy. It could be a commercial page, service page, that sort of stuff. But like 4 posts, right? Really good posts because we have like a copywriter, whatever. Now we don't reduce price. We still charge the same amount for SEO, do more hours, but now we're producing 15 to 20 posts per month. And so now when you're producing this content at scale with SEO, and our SEO guy, shout out to Saudi if you ever see this, over in Pakistan, he is like, he's been doing this since Google came out, and he is a genius. I have never met anybody better than him in SEO, and that's not just because like he works at YAMU. I would have, if we found somebody better, I would like hire them. But this guy is brilliant, and with his approach and his strategy, we're able to see results like 3 months, so sometimes sooner.
Pretty much you can like use Jasper to like go faster in a sense.
Jasper is one. We don't use Jasper because ChatGPT, like, why? We got ChatGPT for free.
That's true.
Or
that's
like,
true. Yeah.
We've used Jasper before. Really, I just think of Jasper as like they're just good at creating good briefs. I don't know much about AI, so I don't know if their like AI model is better. I've written content in Jasper. I've written content in ChatGPT. ChatGPT costs, if you're using GPT-4, $20 a month. Jasper is like $50 a month, and you got to pay more. So it's like, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the SEO game has been completely like just beautiful for us and our clients as far as getting results. And then there's like, so that's more of like the things that we've been implementing this year, like just doubling down on. As soon as ChatGPT came out, we were like talking to our team and like use this and report back on how you're using this. And if you're not using this, why are you not using this? So like, it was almost like a requirement. Like you were no longer allowed to waste your time writing copy.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? Because we hire offshore. Like we hire people in India, Pakistan. Like we had people in Colombia at one point. Like your English is obviously not that great. Doesn't mean you're not great at what you do.
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing and strategy, it's just you have this one technical thing that you're just naturally not good at.
So pretty much
now use ChatGPT.
You use ChatGPT to write the whole thing for you, and then
everything,
and then they like put in and out like keywords. And
stuff like that. So you do. Yeah. So we don't just copy and paste like that. You don't want to do that. Like that's just not best. That's just not good practice. Because one, like it's an AI. It's not gonna get this brand voice. There's like a lot of things that need to be checked before you can just like post something. But if a post took 5 hours, it's now done in 30 minutes from creation, and then 30 minutes for like editing. And it's just like, how could you not
do
leverage that?
Yeah.
Why would, and it's literally just, why does the SEO take time? My theory is, obviously it takes time to index and get found on Google. Like there's a process for that Google knows, and I personally don't know that, and that takes time. But also it's like Google cares about their users. So like, who's going to provide the most amount of content at the highest scale Instagram and Facebook are the same way. YouTube, if you post consistently, like you're going to get favored by the algorithm. So like the same thing works for Google search. If you're posting consistently, like it doesn't even have to be like the way SEO is beautiful. Like it doesn't even have to be great content. Like let's just say on a scale of 1 to 10, the content's like a 5, but you're posting all this stuff and then you're on like page 10, but then that one piece of content is now on page 4. Well, then now what you do is you see that momentum and you're like, okay, let me now update that content for better keywords or, make it the quality better. And now you're going from page 4 to page 2 to page 1. And then, so that's like the content upgrade approach. So SEO is like so for SaaS companies, SEO is the winner. Like that is going to work.
Like inbound SaaS.
SaaS.
Like HubSpot
inbound.
Model.
Exactly.
HubSpot model. Like HubSpot.
HubSpot is my they're the guys that I learned from. Like I've consumed all of their content, and like I've not just consumed their content. I've like looked at what they're doing. Like how are they always showing up? How are they always having like a lead magnet that's for me? And how are they like? How do they know to do this stuff?
Yeah, they're so good with like the PDFs and like.
Yeah, I even bought their founders. I'm terrible with names,
Ramesh
but
and everything.
Huh?
I think his name's Ramesh.
Yeah, I'm horrible with names. So
is it Ramesh? No,
Ramesh there's two founders.
Dude, I'm blank. No, so like because HubSpot bought My First Million, and then My First Million. Like they always have a guy. I'll tell you right now. HubSpot founder. No, they're animals of it. Like they just got it.
They built the blueprint. Like they wrote the book Inbound Marketing. I think back in 2014. I bought it and read it a couple last year.
Dharmesh.
Yeah. I was gonna go to their conference, but it conflicted with SaaSer. They have a annual conference in Boston called Inbound, where just a bunch of marketers go and just maybe next year if it doesn't conflict with SaaSer. But I bought their book just to like confirm, like, because I was like, they're doing this, like, I know that I would like look at I would be a consumer of their content, but then I would also question, how am I always seeing them, And I bought their book, just like study them. They're like, and then that used to be like, early on, that used to be like our, it used to be like part of our pitch almost, because we would go to founders and be like, HubSpot's also a SaaS product, and look exactly what they did. Like we're going to take what they did and apply it to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know if it works or not, look at them.
It works.
Let me go on SEMrush. Let me show you their organic traffic that they're getting every single month, or like how much they're spending on ads per month, or like let me go show you in ads library and show you like what their campaigns look like. Like how much more proof do you need, and then how are you going to argue with?
Seriously, no. HubSpot just figured it out.
They cracked the code.
They
cracked the code. But honestly, it's mostly just through SEO and creating a lot of content.
A shit ton of content.
They post probably like 4 blogs a day.
Like big ones.
Maybe they probably post like 4 blogs a day just for their marketing hub. Then they have a sales hub, an ops hub. These guys.
And they're like big, meaty, fat blogs.
Like,
they're like jokes.
No,
like,
and it's good content.
It's good content.
It's really good content.
Yeah, if you go to like their main blog, they're just like endless posts.
They have that. That's just a blog. Then there's like the courses. Like the HubSpot Academy, and then like that's all SEO. That's all text. That's all video.
Because like HubSpot's free. Like the cheapest version's free.
Yeah.
And then you start learning all this crap, and then you start reading and PDFs, and it's like, oh crap! Now I gotta like integrate with like something else, right? So it's like HubSpot has to integrate with like outbound. Like outbound.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, not damn. Now I gotta pay for HubSpot. So fuck it, let me just pay for HubSpot. You know what I mean? It's like that's
bro. I felt guilty consuming all that content and not paying them because I was like, you guys deserve it. Like I just have no use for you because I'm like in bootstrap mode still, and I don't want to use your CRM because it's expensive.
It's expensive as hell.
I would love to work with you guys someday.
That's a testament to like how to structure a business from the ground up. I know Hormozy talks about it. He's like share free value to the point where they feel indebted to you in some way, so that when you do have something to sell, regardless of the quality of that thing, they're going to buy it because of how good your free shit was. So I think that's a good testament as to like what all businesses should strive for. And it's tough to do that with some companies. With others, it's easy to do, but like with an e-commerce brand, how do you do that? How do you provide value to someone for a product that they can't physically use or get the benefit out of? Like you got to give them a sneak peek of what that looks like with another customer that's used it, but it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, with e-commerce, I feel it comes down to one of two things. It either comes down to utility. Like, is that product just like so innovative and solves a need that quickly where like people get it and they don't even need to create content? That's obviously best case scenario from my perspective, because the product can sell itself.
It's intuitive.
In most scenarios though, and this is why I moved away from e-commerce, that way of giving that free value comes from just the brand. Like, how well connected does that person feel with the brand? I honestly I have so much respect for the drop shippers that are doing clothing brands that make it work, because it's like, that doesn't just mean that you can sell product. That means you can create like a movement around your brand, and also like have the execution to continuously create content that people associate with that brand and people want to be a part of and build a community like that.
Yeah.
And that's like that's, you know, if I do like a cost calculator for my B2B SaaS client, they're doing a quick 30-second video on Instagram about whatever that is a part of their movement. And that's the piece of their users are getting the same type of value from that content that my clients' users are getting from like a cost calculator, you know, or just as like an
100%.
example. Yeah.
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 So did you play any sports in high school?
I did. Yeah. I played football and lacrosse.
Could tell.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Yeah. I played O-line and D-line. That was my thing. Yeah.
Did that translate anything into business, or did you try to do that in
100%.
college? You
Yeah.
still stay fit because of
Yeah.
business? Because like I was an athlete. We were both athletes. Like in high school, I was an athlete in college. And I think a lot of that stuck with me in business.
Yeah. I mean, so you guys obviously heard of like Ray Rice, right?
Yeah.
So he went to New Rochelle High School, where I went to high school, and played football. And we both played football under the same coach. And my coach is like, you know, he doesn't coach here anymore. He coaches at one of the, you know, private schools nearby. But he was the first mentor that I had to really take the hard work in football and always correlate it with something in life.
Yeah.
No matter what, he was hard. Like he would bring in he brought in like Marines to train us. He would bring in like college strength and conditioning programs, because he was like well connected. Again, he brought Ray Rice. He taught Ray Rice, you know, so like he has network, you know, so he brought in everybody. Shout out to Coach DiRienzo. And you know, he really like instilled what it means to like actually work hard. Like you could like put in the hours and put in like the blood, sweat, and tears, but like at the end of the day, football is a sport that's going to end, and like you need to come back with a skill. So his objective was turning, obviously, you know, creating good football players, but the thing that he focused mostly on is turning like boys into men. So like instilling values every single, like just jamming it into us every single day. I still quote him to this day with my friend. Like it just comes up. You can't even help it at this point.
Yeah. Little voice in the back of your head.
Yeah, it's just always there. So translate that to business, that's where the discipline and like the almost like the borderline psychotic work ethic comes in, where it's like I will literally stop at nothing. Like there is nothing, like I don't care, you know, whether it's just like funny, like when my team comes to me with like a problem that they can't solve, I'm like, you're like, there is no, like no is not an answer. Like that's the only answer is not no. Like the answer that it can't be is I can't do this, or like that's not an option. So that's something that, you know, I think I've always had. He kind of helped me bring it out a little bit more. And, you know, big shout out to my dad. My parents also instilled that into me, that work ethic. And yeah, that directly translated over to business. And now, you know, I really, really focus on, you know, physical health. Literally, we met in a gym in the sauna. Like, yeah. But I started like, you know, the gym, as you can imagine, can get kind of boring. So I was like, how can I listen, man, when you're doing like extreme sports, like no matter what, you're always going to miss that like
competitiveness,
but camaraderie, but also like that physicality to it. Cause like when you're lifting, it's like, yeah, you're going strong, but like sounds kind of weird, but there's nothing like hitting somebody and like getting hit as well. So that's why in November last year, I started doing Muay Thai. And then I got really, you know, I don't want to say really good, because these guys, shout out to Fight Lab at you know, over in Fort Lee. These guys are some savages. Like these guys are actually competing and trying to go pro. Yeah. And I'm over here just training with them because I have no plans of going pro. I don't even know if I ever want to compete in my life. Yeah. I just want that thing, that physicality, that like me versus you type of situation. And like, I've gotten knocked down. Like I've gotten punched in the face. Like that part, I've gotten hurt. Like my peroneal nerve gave out. I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks. Like all that shit. But you know, you get over that because you know, when you're sparring, it's been like, yeah, that doing Muay Thai is.
What's up, New Money Talks fam? Quick one for our sponsors over at PrimeCord. If you've ever wanted to build your own e-commerce business, but you haven't gotten started yet, you're probably just overwhelmed with the amount of information that's out there with people telling you what to do. But the guys in PrimeCord, Andrew and Kevin, know what they're doing. They're multi-7-figure dropshippers that have been doing this for years. They've done millions and millions of dollars in sales profitably. And in this Discord coaching community, they teach you everything that you need to know to launch and to scale your own e-commerce business. And they break it down in a way that's very simple and easy to understand, which is best of all, because there's a lot of information out there, a lot of misinformation from people that are teaching the wrong things and don't even do it themselves. These guys are the real deal. So if you want to learn more about what it is that they do, about the coaching community, have a group of people who are all growing together and holding each other accountable to hitting certain goals or to learning new things, then definitely check out PrimeCord. We're going to have the link somewhere in the description of this video. Now back to the podcast.
It's been something that I've been longing for because, you know, when you stop playing football, I think you stop in college, right? So, you know, that's a little bit more recent. I stopped in high school. So like, I've been just like, you always miss it. You always think back to it, you know? And it's really something that like people make fun of ex-football players, like, oh, you can't move on. But like, they just don't, you'll never understand because you never played it, understandably so. But like, you can't get rid of that need to have that physical thing,
like contact, and
that that combat, you know. I guess it's a better way of putting it, that combat sports.
A lot of entrepreneurs, like, I feel like they start in a sport, whether it's like whether it's contact, combat or not, and they end up getting into something that's combat related. So a lot of people are getting into boxing now, like YouTube's entrepreneurs, or like Muay Thai, wrestling.
Jake Paul's,
like a lot of people are getting into that, and I think it's because a lot of them get into it after they've actually had a little bit of success already, because they're like, okay, well, I got the numbers in the bank, like that's cool, but that's only one pillar of what you can succeed in life. Like if the guy's standing in front of me, if he can kick my ass, it doesn't matter how much money is in my bank. Your business doesn't mean shit. Like, is your business going to save you? Like I can't pay the guy to not punch me in the face, right? So it's like, so there's those pillars of like of health, there's wealth, and then there's combat readiness, you know, and there's all these pillars that when you have one of them, and there's not a whole lot of satisfaction you get in that, getting more of that, for example, money, then the next best thing is like, all right, well, I want to get in really good shape, or I want to be able to kick somebody's ass, you know?
Yeah. Like, it's also, you know, it's also, I don't know. My perspective on it is, you know, it's that, like, you know, the self-defense part of it, but it's also like, there's just more to life than business and money. Like, even if it's not, you know, physical sports or anything like that, like even traveling, I've been realizing recently is like, I could, you know, I really can't go more than 2 days without working out in the morning, because like I'll start to get like anxious and really start to go through it, and I'm like a completely different person, and I'm like not friendly to be around for like the first 6 hours of the day. Yeah. But if I'm traveling, I don't really need to work out, because like that fulfills a different side of me that, like, you know, it just fulfills like a different side, and like I just love exploring. Like one of the best trips I went on 2 years ago with my girlfriend was to Arizona, and we were just like in the middle. We stayed at like this RV Airbnb in the middle of the Navajo reservation. Wow. Just us and like the local, you know, Native American Indians. And that was just like, dude, in Arizona during August, like once the sun goes down, like the storms kick in, and like now you're in nature. Like now you no longer like control. But like that's like fulfilling for some reason. Like that's like cool. And then also like seeing the canyons and all that stuff, and like exploring, like that's also like was an amazing experience as well, because you just feel kind of so small in this world, and it makes you really question like a lot of different things. Yeah. So I also, you know, traveling is a big thing that I want to, you know, it's been you know, obviously like the past couple weeks doing like San Francisco, and then I went up to Buffalo. That's some traveling, but I really want to start I'm planning a trip for like a big trip for December, and then another trip next year, just to like fully detach and like go do some random shit.
I feel like it's also I think traveling is one of the best things you can do, ironically, for business too, because you go and then you get disconnected, and it re-sparks different areas and neurons in your brain that like get you motivated for when you come back. Like the second you get there, you're experiencing it. You're there for a couple of days. Then you're thinking, man, when I get back, like I'm going to crush it. You know, I can't wait to get back.
You have so many ideas. Like you tap into a different part of your brain. Like one that's, I was talking to my partner, like I said, he's currently became a digital nomad. So he's like traveling the world. And so, and he's working crazy hours his time because he's working at EST. But I told him, I was like, it must be different for you because, when you travel, you're less stressed. So when you're spending time stressing, you're not really allowing for like new ideas, new things to flow. And you don't even know how that can affect you, like, down the road 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So like just even having the mental the mental space for anything that's not stress can directly translate to business, to relationships, to like whatever it is. Cause you're not worrying about like, that's really what stress is worrying about the past or the future. Right. And if you're not doing that, well, what else is there? It's just, you're just kind of happy, you're kind of just like thinking about all like the cool shit that you want to do with your life. And then that kind of
moment.
That gives you all the new ideas that you need for whatever business, whatever.
Some powerful shit right there. Yeah, I like that.
So earlier you were talking about how you and your girlfriend just got your first property.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So in addition to, what I'm doing with YAMU, my girlfriend and I met in college, and since we met, she's seen the entire journey. Shout out to Sarah.
That's the best, man.
Yeah, love
when you're in a relationship where like you grow together.
Yeah, man. I mean, she's amazing. She's my rock. She's like, there's really not many words I could use to describe her.
That's weird.
But back on track. She's been telling me for a long time since we met in school that she's been wanting to do this. And she also has an incredible story. She came over from Colombia as an immigrant, lived illegally for a while, grinded her ass off in college, met the right people, and now works at a big, Morgan Stanley, which is obviously a huge bank in the city. Like she's perfect for me. And she has been always wanting to do like, invest in real estate. And I've always wanted to do it because, rich dad, poor dad, like I know I need to do it, but like I like this marketing shit. So I'm going to double down here and I'll revisit real estate at another time. She is like the opposite. She's like, I've always wanted to do real estate. I got this job. The job's going to pay for the real estate. Eventually it's going to supplement the income, quit the job, double down.
You got to keep her there.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. She's the best. She's
not just like, I want to be a housewife.
No. I mean, she will be at some point, but it's going to be like when we both decide that like, that's what she wants,
Have like 50 units. And it's like, all right, we're
So, she's been studying her ass off, kind of like reaching out to people, getting mentors. And, she's really pioneering it. I'm more of like supporting it because I have at this point, like 7 years of business experience, from college all the way up to now. So like I'm supporting with like the business, the strategy, like the decision, stuff like that. But she's like pioneering, she's running it, And we bought the first one over the summer using the, what was the loan called? The conventional, conventional loan? Yeah, conventional loan, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, it's similar to FHA, but instead of paying 3.5% down, you pay 5% down, and the interest rate is way less than the market rate. I don't know what the market rate is now. Like just say 7-8%. I don't know. The interest rate is probably around like 3.5%, 3%, 4%. So like the only contingency is you need to invest in an area where there's at least 50% minority. And so we, qualified for that loan, and we decided we'll go into Elizabeth, New Jersey. The reason why Elizabeth is because they have the property that we looked at is right in front of the, right by the seaport, and they're building a ferry or something that goes from Elizabeth to the financial district. Whether or not that happens, obviously you're dealing with like governments and stuff. So like shit takes away. They've been saying that for 5 years. Yep. So who knows? Regardless of the fact, even if they don't do that, it still works out. Like the numbers still check out. So yeah, bought the property July. It was probably the weirdest experience because it almost went too well and it happened way too fast.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of like, at the point at the beginning of spring where we're like, yeah, I think we could I think this is the year. Like, let's just do one. We've saved up enough money. Let's take the leap and really do it. So we're just shopping around, talked to a couple realtors, found a really good realtor, which I can't, shout out to Luca. I don't know where we would be without him. Like, he just guided us through the entire process. We didn't know shit. It was like, if I had Greg Mercer for Amazon, I got Luca for real estate, it's like that, but except I could ask him questions.
Yeah.
So he helped us out with everything. And then we found a property that was good. And then we're like, yeah, let's just we'll put an offer in. We don't know what's going to happen. We're just testing out the waters. He goes, somebody came in higher. I recommend you do this type of offer. So we're like, all right, yeah, we'll do that offer. Send it in. Freaking a week goes by. He calls us, congratulations, you guys got the house. And my girl, Sarah, comes up to me. She goes, we got the house. And I was like, oh shit. Are you kidding me?
We got to do this now.
We're actually fucking doing this. There's nowhere playing around. So, but you guys are both entrepreneurs. You guys know that's exactly how it goes. Yeah, almost all the time. You don't. Sometimes it just happens, and now you're here. There's no going back.
You got to jump in the water.
You got to jump in the water and learn how to swim. Exactly.
Honestly, buying a house, I thought was the most anticlimactic thing I've ever done. I bought a building last year. You literally just wire the money. You sign a random piece of paper and they're like, congrats.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah.
And the lawyers even yo, you don't even have to come if you don't want to. You can just do a power of attorney and I'll sign it for you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? This is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? You just wire money, boom, this account, and you're done.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, here's the keys. Good luck.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Water heater's broken. Good luck.
Yeah. We've been lucky though. I have another friend of mine who I played football with, who also has been, shout out to Prince. I feel like it's the first time I've been. Yeah, man. I don't do this alone. I don't want to take credit for shit. I wouldn't. There is no Dylan without the people I've been mentioning, and probably more people who will come up in conversation. Or even if they don't, I'm not. This is not a one man show. I could guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my friend Prince. We played football together, so we had the same values, same coach. I know he is on the same type of, he has the same type of mindset as me. And, he's already got, I think 4 properties or something like that. So he's obviously been doing it way longer. So being able to reach out to him, ask him questions and dude, that's knowing people that have already done it and are not that they've already done it, but they're not that, they're far along. They're further than you are, but they still, they're not too far ahead where they don't remember the details. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of, and even so, I also feel, not to kind of go off topic a little bit, but I feel I owe that same thing to people who are kind of where I was at a couple years ago. So I have a couple friends that I'm mentoring now who are shout out to Manny. He's building a website agency that, just focusing on websites, and he's going through a lot of the same shit that I went through. And I'm just kind of I need to pay it forward. I don't want to have this knowledge to myself. It doesn't do anything for me. I know what I'm going to do with it, but I want to give back as much as possible. And so I also through my school, UB's they've grown their entrepreneur program a lot. So I've also started mentoring students from UB. I just kind of just give them my Calendly link. And then during the semester or whatever, I'll see a random meeting on my calendar and just hop on a 30-minute call, talk to someone. They have a startup idea, working on a project for school, whatever, for marketing, or even just want to know more about entrepreneurship, whatever, just kind of talk, see where they're at, and see how it goes.
I think you brought up a really good point, is that it's not that you can't learn from ultra successful people, but you're probably going to learn a lot more from the person who's only a couple of steps ahead of you.
Yeah.
Because they can most relate to the position that you're currently in.
Yeah. And that you bring that's a great point, because, I remember starting out with an agency. We did try to talk to the ultra successful people, because, this is a separate topic. I don't want to go on too many tangents, but the imposter syndrome that I'm sure you guys have all felt as an entrepreneur starting out. Yeah. It's oh, you have X millions of dollars. You hear millions. You're all right, this guy's a genius. This guy knows everything. So getting advice from them at a really early stage, they don't really remember what it was like. They also, when they started, it was 10, 15 years ago. The times are different.
Yeah.
So we would get advice from people. I'll never forget. We were doing like one of our very early like quarterly planning sessions, and we had probably spent like maybe 5 hours talking about like who our customer profile is, who we want to serve, how we want to do it, all that other stuff. We got on like a 130-minute call with like this mentor. We review with him what we want to do. He goes, "Don't do that. That's stupid." And I'm like, at that point, like, I don't know. I was like, "Fuck you, bro." Like, I'm doing it anyway, but my partner had like a moment where he was like, "Oh, fuck, are they right?" And I was like, man, but luckily we have another mentor who's like gotten that success, but also still somehow can relate to like the early stage. So he kind of like really put us in check. It. Yeah. So, that's really like the biggest thing is, not letting imposter syndrome really fuck up the way you make decisions, because it can really lead to like just like so many diminishing returns. You'll think you'll be making the right decision for so long until everything just crashes in front of you. And you're like, what happened? And you're like, oh, well, I was listening to this person took advice. And that's not like deflecting ownership. Like, I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. It's completely your fault. It's completely my fault. I chose to take that advice. I'm not like, I don't believe like the victim mentality or anything like that. Like, I made the wrong decision in listening to their, advice. So like, not letting imposter syndrome, which has been the biggest thing that my partner and I have really, if I were to, pat myself on the back a little bit, that's like the thing that we've really like overcome this year is that imposter syndrome. And like, no, like we're good at what we do. We've gotten the results. We got the clients, we got the testimonials, we got all this stuff. Like, no more taking advice unless it's like unless it's justified and like we think based on our experience and our values and where we're going as a company that that's what we want to do and we agree with that, because taking bad advice is, man, I don't feel bad, but like I could empathize with the difficulty in like starting a company and trying to raise money from investors, but now those investors want you to do certain things their way, but it's like you just need their money. You don't necessarily need like their input. So I could really, imagine how difficult it might be as like an entrepreneur, CEO, co-founder, whatever, that's, got themselves caught because they don't even own majority of their company anymore because they've diluted themselves so much. And now they can't even, they're just making decisions. They're just working now for their company. Yeah. They're not even like the decision makers
they're
anymore.
Just an employee.
Yeah.
Now raising the money, it's like a whole. If you do it right, like the company Teachable.
Yeah.
So like the founder of Teachable sold it for like 250 or something like that, 250 million. And he was talking about it where he's like, he believes. I agree. Like the perfect business does raise money, but like the right amount of money at the right time. So it's like you don't raise it too early, you don't raise it too late. You raise it, you have it, but like you don't use it just to use it. Like you use it strategically. Yeah. So I think he raised like 13 million in total.
Yeah.
And he had 9 million left in the bank when he sold the company, and he owned 55% of the company.
Wow.
So it was like he just like, because pretty much if you think about it, like if you think about it like this is why I think of like VC is like VCs are literally paying you to work for them. For you to make money, like a return on their investment, right?
Yeah.
But all you have to do is like make progress before you go and take their money, so that when you go take their money, then you just
they're not up your ass.
No, exactly. they take less of a percent of your company. So they're irrelevant in a sense. Like I actually, it's like, for example, I think Bezos did this. Bezos, his first raise, he raised $1 million from 10 people. I think he raised like $100K from 10 people.
It's like family and friends too, right?
Like it was like a family and friends, but like he's like a rich family. You know what I mean? Like rich family and friends / like I think he went to like Princeton or something.
Needed them when I was doing Amazon, but I needed them when I was doing Amazon.
Exactly. He went to like a hedge fund before he started Amazon. But like regardless, like just the way he did it was like, all right, that's 10% of your company at like a $10 million valuation, right? Like you play that like 10% out of $1 million, and then I don't think he raised again until like a series, like real series B.
Yeah.
Because he's like, well, let me just be efficient with the money. Like the money's really just there to buy you time in a sense, like to get to the point that like, okay, I don't need this money anymore. Like you just play that game over and over. Yeah. Some of these companies now, like Jasper, for example, sorry if Jasper's listening to this, but like you go raise at $1 billion valuation, you're just gassed up by AI. Yeah. Your revenues are shot. Your churn is out of whack. And it's just like, it doesn't make fucking sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you go like 18 months down, you're like, well, I got to raise more money. But it's like, whoa, you're worth $1 billion. the next raise has to be like an IPO or like an exit.
Yeah.
You can't go public because you have no revenue.
Yeah.
And no one wants to buy you because you have no revenue. So you have a down round.
Yeah.
And then you're just
Yeah.
bad
And
position.
I'm a big fan of bootstrapping. Like
bootstrapping is good.
Bootstrap until you get the leverage. Like at least until you could like get the leverage to where you can go to an investor and say, I don't need anything other than dollar bills from you.
Well, the thing is, like at the core though, an investor wants you to just make a return on his money.
Yeah.
So like the conversation, everyone's like, you have a nice deck, you go to the investor, you say this. At the core, it's like, you're going to give me $1 million and you want me to return to you 50 million one day.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does that look like?
In a year, by the way. Like I want you to return this in like 6 months or so.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, well, a lot of people like are so like gung ho on the deck and this and that.
Yeah.
I've talked to some guys who like raise big fucking money and they're just like, well, at the end of the day, the VC wants to make a return.
Yeah.
He's making all these bets. He wants to pick one, make a return. It's like, well, what have you done in your past and to this point that I think you can make me X return? You know, it's like, that's really it. The deck's great. This is great. Story's great, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it's just really, it's money at the end of the day. It's like, I need to make 50X on my money, 100X type of thing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
VC's weird.
It's funny. I was talking to my partner today about this. It's like, we got an email from a prospect. It was like, and they're obviously like raising funds and they're like, if we go faster, can we get results in like 2 months or so? And I laughed. I was like, he just asked us to pretty much cure cancer. Like, should we just ask him? It's like,
exactly.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Can you cure cancer tomorrow? And it's like, it's just like, it's funny because, you know, and this is where transparency and communication is like at the core of like our values as a company. It's like, we're not here to bullshit anybody. Like, I'm going to tell you that your goal is unreasonable in our second call. I'm going to do the research. You're going to tell me your goal in the first call. I'm going to get an understanding. Okay, cool. You need this, you need that, whatever. Sounds good. Let me go do the research. I'm going to say, based on my research, we're not going to hit your goal in 6 months. We're going to probably do it maybe in 12, maybe 18 months. We're obviously going to try to go as fast as possible, but like, we're not going to hit it. Like, I just want you to know that. And so like, start preparing your pitch decks, prepare to raise more money. And they like that because now a lot of my clients are traumatized and I love it because they go to agencies where they're promised all these results. And so they're like, and on top of that, the agencies probably have like great strategies and they're probably doing good stuff, but the communication just sucks. And they were too probably scared to like have a difficult conversation with the client. And, you know, or maybe the strategy was bad and like they promised all these results, didn't get anything. And in that time, the CEO or whoever you're talking to, like, planned to get the results and planned accordingly. Maybe they took less time on raising or they didn't go as aggressive because fundraising is like, I'm sure you know, fundraising is, it's not even like a full-time job. It's like your entire life. Like it's 24 hours a day. Even if you're getting dinner with like VCs. If you're getting breakfast, you're getting breakfast with VC. Like all day you're fundraising. It's not like people aren't just going to give you millions of dollars just because you did a couple hours of like an email reach out. Like, no, like you are literally taking flights, talking to people, you know, talking about people's kids, watching their dog. Like you're doing whatever you can to get that money. So like if you're telling somebody you can get them results in an unreasonable timeline and they like, again, taking ownership, they decided to believe you. So like if they decided to believe you and then changed their, you know, operations, took some time off, whatever, like it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so like, so what you do instead is instead of promising the world and then falling short of that delivery, you promise very little and therefore it makes it more predictable to exceed expectations.
100%. We promise the absolute worst case scenario.
You're like, I'm going to post 4 blogs a month for you. That's it.
No.
Like, I'm going to do that.
I say, I'm going to do all of the right. I'll say, here's what works for your competitors. Here's what's worked for us in the past. Here's our strategy for you. Here's the best thing that we think you need. And it likely is what's best for them. And that's not just like tooting my own horn. That's like we have a really good team. Like the results speak for themselves. It's like, here's what I thoroughly believe is going to work for you. But in executing the best strategy possible, we're going to expect the least amount of return. We're all going to agree that we're prepared to execute this strategy for like 3, 6, 9, 12 months and have zero expectation for results. Is that cool with you? Awesome. We're going to do our best. I promise you that. You're going to see results, but like, don't
call me in 3 weeks.
Don't call me. Yeah. Don't call me. Like I'm working on your shit, you know, if you like, I have never had a client I've never had a client churn because they didn't think that we were working on stuff.
Yeah.
Every client knows. I've churned clients because we sucked at communicating. Like, you would think clients don't care about your keyword strategy and the content you're posting. You think the clients only care about, I spent X, what's my result? What's the ROI? But if you're communicating, like, and you can like confront, it's a difficult conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. And, you know, big shout out to my partner for like being the best person, I think, in the position to have and navigate those conversations and like support me. Cause I'm the one that like tells him like, Kanishka, this is not happening. We need to figure out a way to communicate this to them, and you need to like help me communicate it to them. Where like, cause I could be a little aggressive and like too direct.
Dude, that's exactly.
And you have like, it's a perfect dynamic. So like,
I'm like the filter.
It's the perfect dynamic. So it's like, we're going to like, the clients aren't going to care about a blog post that like a specific blog post. When you do like a weekly report or whatever, you say, we created X amount of blog posts. They're not going to care unless you've told them how that volume or is going to contribute to the long term. Like having this I work for you relationship does not work for our agency. Like we work with our clients as if we're a part of their team, which it might sound malicious, but it's really not, because we're good people. Makes it difficult for them to fire us now. Yeah. Because it's like, you're never, like, we're an agency, yes. But I like what you said earlier when we were talking before. It really stood out to me. It's like, we really aren't, we operate more as a partner. We're labeled as an agency, but like, I very much agree with what you said. Like, we will do that. Like, we don't offer email marketing anymore. We know how to do it, but you know, if we think that that's what's needed for the client to get best results, like, I know how to do it. My partner knows how to do it. I know how to find the right talent to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've worked with email marketers before. Like, I know what the strategy needs to look like. I'll own the strategy and like work with him in execution, or if they're qualified enough, they could own the strategy, whatever. Yeah. And like, now we'll do email marketing for you. And like, we're not going to lead with it. We're not going to say, oh yeah, based on, you know, if you're new, we're going to say SEO and ads is where we're going to start. Yeah. When the problem comes where now you don't have a team to nurture leads or whatever, and your sales is not doing it, you know, that's when we'll pivot.
Yeah. An agency is like, you're going to run my email marketing and that's it. Like, you're going to stay in your lane.
They're just executioners.
And a growth partner is like, I want to grow, figure it out.
Yeah. Exactly.
However you can do it, figure it out. And like, if you're not doing something and I want you to do it, you're either going to do it for me, or you're going to find someone who could do it for me, and then kind of bring them under your wing, so I don't have to worry about it.
Now I'm doing HR and talent acquisition. You know, it's like,
or you're finding someone who could do it for them. Like we had one client that she was doing like 10K a month, and we ended up scaling her like 100K a month in 90 days, right? Just like an e-commerce brand. She had good organic content, just didn't know shit about running ads. So we were doing very well. Then she was like, guys, I can't keep fulfilling these orders myself. And so we're like, okay, you got two options. You can work with a 3PL and you can ship the products out and you can run the numbers on that. Or we'll help you find a warehouse, staff it, and you can figure it out because you've been doing all the orders yourself. Yeah. So you just have to train 4 people on how to do that.
Yeah.
So she took the latter route, literally got the keys to a warehouse, staffed it, which we helped her put the job listings up for. Yeah. And then in 2 more months, we got her to like just under 300K a month because of being able to do that. Like, an agency that does ads is not going to have a single clue as to how that process would look. Yeah, they'd be like, oh, just work with, just work with this 3PL. Yeah. But they're like, then they have to make the ingredients. It's like a handmade product. Yeah. And so it's like, it's a much different situation. Like, I need to be there. Yeah. And so we were like, all right, we'll figure it out with you. Like, don't sweat it.
We've had clients, the most odd example is we've had one of our best clients right now. Their CEO and my partner, they were talking, and he was looking for like a head of marketing and a CMO, but he was like, can you guys find somebody that you guys think is good and that you would be willing to report to? So like, you're pretty much asking us to staff your C-suite level talent so we can report to them. Like, but it's like, all right, cool. We found someone and he's good. So, you know, it ended up working out. But to your other point with like the agencies that just do the execution work, I feel like the only agencies that work with that model now are like the $1 billion agencies, where like they're working with brands that are also $1 billion brands, and those brands literally just need a fingers to type on a keyboard, like, and like just do like robot shit.
You're talking like VaynerMedia?
I actually don't even know what they do. I think they do like more content stuff. I'm talking about like ads, like Group M type stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Like really big agencies.
Yeah, like the huge
like Coca-Cola brands.
Yeah, like literally working with Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
My brother used to work at one of those. He used to work at Group M, and he was telling me, he was like, "You're just a pawn there. Like you're not really doing any. You're not thinking of strat. You're literally just clicking buttons.
You're very replaceable too. Like, I think the cool thing about like being a growth partner is like, if I'm doing the more things that I'm doing for you, it might be a lot on my plate, but the way harder it is for you to fire me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Or part ways.
Yeah.
Because it'd be very difficult for you to replace what it is that I am doing for you, even if the results aren't as good as if they were to hire like 5 individual boutique agencies at that specific thing. Because number one, that's going to be way more expensive. And number two, those are like 5 puzzle pieces you have to figure out instead of just like one centralized partner that you work with.
And another thing is that also brings challenges though. Like it is very difficult for us to hire another person that can be an account manager. Purely coincidentally, I got on a call with somebody today who might be the right fit, but it's so rare for somebody to have to come from like some sort of marketing experience, or maybe like they worked at another agency before. And it's so rare to find somebody who's aligned in the fact that they know that they have that partnership mentality. Whereas like previously they were doing just like, so we're clicking the buttons. I'm your person that's going to talk to you. You know, I'm going to send you this every week. We're going to talk every month or like every 2 weeks or whatever. We're going to talk about these bullshit numbers that we're just going to, you know, pull out of our ass just to look good, manipulate the reports to look good. And you're on your own. We're going to be doing this. But versus the account managers who are like, I know how to do strategy. I know how to talk to clients, and I know how to manage a team. So like, and I know how to like roll up my sleeves and get a little dirty and like,
and those are tough to find.
Go to your internal level 10, your internal meetings where like you can, you know, I'll present to your executive team on behalf of like the marketing team, not necessarily just the agency.
Yep.
And that's like, you know, finding people who,
it's like finding another you.
That's the whole. Now we're circling back to like what every single entrepreneur who's trying to scale their business goes to. How do you replace you?
How do I make a copy machine?
How do I make a copy machine? Maybe with AI one day we'll be able to do it.
Yeah. And you can do that with your voice now. So like if I'm making content, I'm making 5 shorts a week in a YouTube video, I can now like make an AI model of me that does a voiceover with what I'm trying to say. So now if I want to make a short that's like faceless, then my editor can now type in the words that he would have otherwise wanted me to say, have the audio do the voiceover, and just plug in the visuals. And boom, now you have it completely automated, but it still seems personalized. You can do the same shit with like Looms now, right? You're like, oh, hey, like, hey, Adam, hey, Mark, hey, whatever, film this quick video for you. Wanted to share a little bit more about our services because you replied yes to our email. Like you can make that voice through AI and not have to do that personalization for 100 responses a day. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, my only thing is like, I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. Humans have a bullshit detector, like inherently. And like, we know it might not be even honestly, even when it comes to reading content, like, and shit, I literally said I write content with AI, but like, I'm also
you can tell when it's like pure.
I can even tell when it's like AI content or whatever. So like video content, I got on a call with somebody, potential prospect, who said, again, met them at SaaS. They're another one, AI product that does, you know, we'll create you write the script and we'll create an AI person. We do the voiceover. They do like the facial, you know, whatever, and you won't even tell that it's an AI. I watched the one video on their homepage. I'm like, this is a fucking AI. Like, and
some people are really bad, but they're getting better.
They are getting better, and they will get to a point where they're almost undetectable. But like, I don't know, man. I feel like we just have, like, humans just have intrinsic bullshit detectors, and I don't know if maybe we will at some point. Like, I feel like the culture has to shift to where we accept AI as like, you know, the same way where we, you know, social media came out like, I don't know, at this point, 15, 20 years ago. Maybe, I don't know, maybe even, I don't know, whatever. It came out a long time ago. But I'm sure you guys remember, like, everybody was like, and this is what got Gary Vee famous, is like, people couldn't adapt. They couldn't accept the culture changing to being social media. And then until it's too late, and they already did, right? Same way that works with like all new technology. Same way that works with crypto. And my like, you know, that's all, we can go on tangents on that. But like people need to like not look at the cool technology thing and talk like, how do I use this in my day to day? How is this going to benefit me? And I don't know if we're at a point yet. There are with certain things with AI. There definitely are a lot like ChatGPT for like, you know, content coding, all that stuff. But to the point where we're going to start listening to AI bots on a video in front of us and trust that that person or that not that person, that robot is like
a person,
that they're not a person, but like I'm willing to listen to this thing talking to me about certain, like for example, like you take a course, you want to take a course from a teacher.
Yeah.
You want to learn from a person. You want to sit down with them. You want to ask them questions. Even if you're doing an online course, you want to take it from a person who's like in front of the camera talking to you as a human. Would you take that same course seriously if that was an AI? If that was an AI robot talking to you? I don't know.
It's a good question.
I don't know.
When I was in college and I had an engineering schedule, a lot of what I learned was from like Khan Academy, for example, for like Calc 2. And some of those were with a person doing a voiceover. Others were literally just like sketch videos almost. It could have been AI narrations. Probably not at the time, but I think it depends on, I think it depends, right? It's like if in most contexts, you'd probably be willing to learn better in, you know, let's say a classroom setting environment from someone physically teaching you or them teaching you over like a virtual lecture. But I mean, I learned a shit ton from YouTube. It was people teaching it, but at this point, I'm sure there's tons of videos that don't have people involved in them, or maybe that they have people involved in creating them, but like once it's set up, I don't know, because you can even argue that YouTube, it is a person that's setting that video up.
Yeah.
But you don't have any personalization after the fact, so they do that once, and now if you watch that 6 years from now and that person has passed away, are you still learning from like that person, or are you learning from something that person constructed at one point and now can be distributed in any way? Yeah. Like it's a weird thought.
It's interesting. Yeah. But it's kind of like the you know, I think it's interesting going back to like, you know, adapting like new technologies. It's, you know, with crypto too, I see them, obviously they're very different things, but I see crypto as kind of, because I was big into like the Bitcoin stuff. I did not get in early enough. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was not there in 2016. Yeah. Coincidentally, one of my high school teachers when I was 15 years old and I was a sophomore had talked about Bitcoin. And I was like, that's stupid. I'm going back to doing like like whatever. Completely wrong about that.
Wow.
But I feel like it's kind of like in the same way. Like, what do we do with this? Like, what are we supposed to, like, first of all, you know, it takes 10 hours at least to learn how to even do transactions. What is a wallet? What is a code? What is a secret code? What is a secret phrase? What does all these different things mean? That's one thing. The next is like, what do I use this for? The next is like, if I wanted to send this to my brother or my friend, how does that work? What network works with what network? Could I do it on Avalanche? Could I do it on Ethereum? So like, there's all these different things that like, and people aren't going to take the time to learn that much. Like, so going back to like technology, right? Like technology is not, so in the book, I'm horrible with names, but it'll come back to me at some point. But I read a book that he was talking about technology is an accelerator, not the solution. So technology is not the end all be all. So at what point is, you know, the technology of crypto is what has made it come to light, like, oh, decentralized, this, that, whatever. But at what point are we actually going to, okay, cool. How does that help me? At what point does that matter? At what point is it going to be easy for me to use and I could just do it with a click of a button? Like I could tell somebody right now if I wanted to. At what point is it going to be that easy?
Right.
And I don't think we're, you know, maybe it's the younger generation that is adapting that to be a part of their lifestyle. And then like, maybe we just need to, you know, the people that are, you know, 4 years old right now, when they're our age, they'll already be like accustomed to it that the learning curve or like the annoying processes would already have been like, would have already evolved out at that point where like they are using it at that easily. I don't know, but I you know, in the context of adopting new technologies, I really don't know where crypto stands. I love it. Like, I think it's
when's the last time you used crypto?
What would I use it for? You know what I mean? Like,
when's the last time you used crypto?
No, like using it, like buying it. I bought it. I bought like $10 worth like a couple days ago. So I was trying to like test something out, but like, 'cause I was trying to like figure out how. I haven't done it in a while. Like I was buying. I made some money off Doge when I made some money like the shit coins or the altcoins that like you'd find on, you know, the last page of CoinGecko or something, and then you buy them and they're the pump and dumps. Like I made some money on those, but it was taking way too much of my time. I also like lost money on them too. And I was like, all right, I like the winning part. I don't like the losing part. So I was like, let me go focus back on my business. This is like a hobby that I enjoy doing. But as far as using it, like all I've done was buy it and sell it. I've never really like done anything
me
with
too.
it.
Like I did a little bit in 2020 and in 21. So like, I think in 2020, my stock losses were like 15K. And then in 2021, my crypto gains were like 20K. So I was like, oh, cool. Like I'm green, you know? But beyond actually trading it, like I don't hear of many use cases where people use it, right? Like I've maybe, the last time I used it outside of that was I maybe paid an employee with like $500 of Ethereum, and it got to them quick because they were in a country that didn't have Zelle. Right. Yeah. But outside of that, now you got things like Wise, right? Yeah. So I pay all my employees with Wise. It used to be called TransferWise. I mean, I can pretty much get it to anyone, anywhere, directly to their bank. Anywhere between like a minute and a couple of hours. But it's not, you no longer have to wait 4 or 5 days, or it can get to their bank on a weekend, you know? And I think, you know, that, so now you have some technology, tools, softwares that mimic what that main value proposition of cryptocurrency was, outside of the decentralization and like blockchain and all that stuff, which goes over people's head, but that's a whole different thing. Do you see anything with that evolving or going anywhere? I don't
know. Honestly, like I just bought a house. Would I buy the house if it was on crypto? Like if the contract was on like a blockchain? If the market, if that's what was required for them, like in other words, if that was the process, 100%, like this is awesome, this is dope, but like they're Fannie Mae, whoever is doing the loans, like they're so slow to adopt new technologies. So like, would I use blockchain if I found a use case for it? I would love to. I'm always like looking for that new technology. Like, you know, I just recently, one of my team members, he's huge into our paid media guy. He's huge into like crypto, and he asked us to pay him in USDT. So like, we got to figure it out, but we figured it out. And so now I think moving forward, we're going to try to pay him in USDT, just because like, there's like, it obviously is helpful for like taxes and stuff. And if he gets paid in US dollars, he's in India. So like they take like 40% off the top right there. Jeez. So like, he's like, if you guys can pay me in Bitcoin and USDT, I'd be fine. I'm like, you figure out how to, how we can do it.
I guess
easy.
Tax evasion is use case.
But I feel like, you know, in these other countries, oh, by the way, the book I was talking about was Good to Great. So I want to just like give that credit. Yeah. But in other countries like, Argentina and stuff, I know it's been huge, but that's just like they're just fighting their inflation rate is like in the hundreds of percent. So like, what are you going to, you got to do something, like you can't just like sit there and watch your money devalue so like as a protection against like, crazy shit like that, I could see it, but like, is that what it was meant for? Is that sustainable that? Like,
I guess what would prevent someone from not getting like MetaTrader 4, like Forex and all that shit? You can technically buy other currencies on a platform like that with very low exchange fees and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of the same concept if combating inflation is the argument. Yeah. Because they could just get that and then buy that currency and then hold that as a reserve somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a crypto wallet, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, like outside of it definitely there was a trend, and then I feel like the trend has mostly come and gone, and it was crypto, then not a lot of crypto, and now it's or was NFTs. Now beyond us talking about it now, I can't remember the last time someone's actually talked to me about crypto and NFTs. Well over a year.
Yeah, but that's also the time when to be paying attention to, like
when it could come back around.
Yeah, because the guys who were doing it in 2016, 17, like when everything fell to shit in 2017, and it like spiked and it went down like the next day, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is a waste of time. This is a scam, whatever." Like
then it popped.
The
off.
real guys, the real people knew like I'm doubling down on this. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's it has gone silent, and when it goes silent, that's the time to look into it. I'm not buying anything. I'm not a
like. I think everyone can. I think everyone can agree that NFTs are really stupid.
Yeah, I think they're stupid. It's like what do you use it for?
Because a lot, like there are people that have like they have NFTs. Like for example, Pudgy Penguins. Yeah. Shout out to Luca. They've done a great job at this. He made it an actual brand where now he has like figurines, or they have events where it gives you tickets and access into the events.
Yeah.
But if I want to go to the Brooklyn Mirage next weekend in Brooklyn and watch John Summit at an event, I can buy a ticket on the website and get a digital QR code. Yeah. So like, what's the difference between that and having to buy your weird looking character?
It comes down to culture, and that's why Gary Vee, he's just really. I think he's just really early. Like he's creating a culture for the Gary Vee brand where he doesn't want to sell tickets. He wants to sell his NFT, and the only people that can go to his events that he has every year are his NFT holders. So like, but again, how many other people are going to do what Gary Vee is doing? It's going to take, that's where the culture comes in. Cause like the answer is not many people, but not many people also are going to do Uber. Not many people are also going to do social media. Not many people are also going to do all these other different things, the internet, So like, again, the culture needs to adapt, and we're just not there yet, but like, will we be there in the next 15, 20 years? I would love to see it. Like, I would love to see like, and like ticket sales is one thing, but one of the projects that I've been following, I don't own any of their NFTs. I just like, they partner with the clothing brand Kith, and which is like a big brand, and this NFT product is it's called like Invisible Friends, and they're like partnering with them, and like their artwork is cool. They're doing like clothing with like, they have like the Invisible Friends brand on like Kith clothing, and they're doing like collaboration. So like, that's pretty cool. Like I like that type of stuff. So like, that's a way I can also see the culture pivoting, but it's really going to take like, dude, how many social medias were there before Facebook? How many things tried and failed before Zuckerberg was like, I'm the best idea stealer of all time, and let me just package it better and sell it and turn it into like something that's easy to use for consumers, and essentially like change the culture. It's just going to take more time.
We've been in circles on this one. I love it. This is good. I did not expect we were talking about crypto on this one.
Talk about whatever you want. We'll talk about life. Talk about
let's
business.
see where we're at.
Talk whatever you guys want.
Hour 30, solid. So what's I'll finish it off with this question. What's the goal next like 5-10 years? I feel like a lot of people, they get into business, they start finding a little bit of success, double down on it. Then like some people maybe get a little bit complacent because they're like in a good place. Some people are like, I have not an end goal in mind, but I have like a milestone in mind. That's when I can not necessarily let off the gas, but it's like when I hit that milestone, that'll be like a big thing that I'm shooting for. And then maybe that when I'm there, I'll reevaluate a goal and it'll be higher, it'll be wider, something like that. What's the goal in the next like 5-10 years?
So that's a great question.
Makes you think, right?
Because so I actually, this is, I do think about it, but it is, I have never like communicated a lot with people. It's just been something that like I'll talk about with like my girlfriend or my partner, like just like one-on-one, like not really like showcase, not put on social media either. But so I'll start with with myself first. So my personal goal is to be an angel investor and invest in startups and local businesses, and also just like own a bunch of property. And like the property stuff is to just for security, for protection, like, always have cash flow coming. If I want to like have kids, have them be taken care of, have family be taken care of, never have to worry about any medical issues, just like the security part. Then like the play money, the fun stuff is like the angel investing. Like I want to invest in like, not just like startups, technology, cool. I'm down. I also like, I really love local businesses. I really love working with small businesses who like, and I'm not talking like investing billions, like millions of dollars. Like I'm talking about like 100K, 200K here and there to like a small business that's going to go so far. And then like, so that's like, where I'm thinking about. I also would like to do startups and tech too. so it's like most of the things that I'm like interested in. For the business, what I'm thinking, what we're thinking is essentially create a startup ecosystem. So it kind of goes hand in hand with like the personal goals, but create a startup ecosystem where we have, and again, this is all like vision, right? So like actually doing it, we're just focusing on like monitoring, scaling the business now. Like we'll get there.
Yeah, one step at a time.
So, but the vision is to create a startup ecosystem where we can provide funding, whether it's venture backed or whatever, to companies, and then funnel all of their marketing needs through YAMU. And then YAMU will have clients that come in on a, the agency side. I want to use partnership side. The partnership side will take care of like itself. That. They'll have like its own business going on. Then there'll be a separate segment of the company strictly towards like the fun stuff, the big deals, like the multi-million dollar deals, the $multi-million dollar startups that like we can provide them with funding through like a network of VC, but we can also use YAMU's system that we've already built for startups and SaaS companies or whatever to scale their inbound marketing. Yeah. And then like whatever other things that they need, just hope that we'll have the connections, which we will have the connections.
I like that. A lot of people don't think about their business as an ecosystem, but I always pitch that. So whatever you're doing, chances are you could do something else that complements it. And you don't have to look at it as doing something else. Because a lot of people are like, oh, like most millionaires have 7 streams of income. Like, sure, but it's because they hit it big with one that they put all their energy in. And then when that bucket overflowed, they put the excess cash flow into some other, typically like more passive style investments. So it's not like they were building 4 companies at once and they all were successful. But going back on the point of the ecosystem is you can have 2 things going at the same time that are separate businesses if they can work together. You know? So if you have a software consulting company and then you have a like a coaching company that they're kind of similar, but one of them maybe brings people up to a point where they're ready to take your consulting. It sounds like, something similar to where you're working on, which is super smart. So that's kind of like an incubator, right?
Yeah, like an incubator. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Partner with like Techstars, Y Combinator, all that stuff. And
just... So you can there's no conversation with someone who is either interested or already has some type of a software or startup company. There's no conversation that isn't, and I don't mean to say this in like a greedy way. There's no conversation that's not monetizable.
Yeah, 100%, everything.
Because if you either want to learn, and we have the resources where you can either learn or jumpstart it, or you want to accelerate the momentum you've already built, and that's where we have the growth partnership services.
Yeah, and we also could take equity in the companies too, and figure out the, how it works from there.
Yeah, and I mean personally, I'm trying to do a similar thing in the e-commerce.
Space.
But I think that that's what everyone should do, because building one business very far and linearly, like that's cool. But when you have an ecosystem that can cover, I guess, multiple areas or like customer profiles without taking up too much of your time or going crazy, I feel like that's really cool. Because I have someone coming to me right now who's like a 17-year-old who has a single mom, and he's like, I need your help. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Like, I only help brands that do 50, 100, 150K a month. And like, I almost feel guilty for not having
but that's sort of like
there.
my personal thing, my personal life. Like, sure, the business can help you, but like, I'm also valuable. So like, here's 50K, 100K to go do your whatever.
Exactly. And so like that's kind of what I want to build out. So like, if someone comes to me with a problem, eventually I'd like to have a solution for it. And it's not going to be for everyone, right? Like someone's going to have a relationship problem. That doesn't mean I'm going to make a course or have an agency about how to fix your relationship, but I'm going to have something that can help most people that come to me with a problem. And I'm like, that right now I'm like, shit, sorry. Like, I don't really have something for you, that are lined up, ready to pay me for it, And I feel guilty because sure, not only can I make a little bit extra money, but they could solve a problem that's worth 50 times whatever it is that they're begging to pay me for, or the hour of my time that they're asking to jump on a call. But if 20 people ask for a 30-minute call every day, I can't do that.
And that's why I'm doing the mentoring stuff with with UB, because it's never, I can't give 50K or 100K right now. I would love to, but
you can give your hour.
I can give my time and my knowledge and my experience, and that is value. Like that is also that's priceless. Because it's priceless.
And the cool thing is like you're going to do that with 50 companies, and 2 of them are going to come back in 5 years and say, hey, do you want to invest in this?
Yeah.
Or like, do you want to partner in this?
You were the only person I feel like I can talk to at that time.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything comes around full circle.
It's all about putting out, karma, just putting out
lead with a ton of value. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. This was a fun one.
Way to end it,
This is a good one.
Yeah.
From the gym sauna to the casting couch.
Oh, man,
talk about whatever you guys want, man.
Where can people find you too?
Social media.
I don't post shit on social media. Check out YAMUmedia.com. If you want to follow me, my Instagram is d.cohen98. It's probably
we'll link it in the description.
One thing I do want to plug is a fundraiser that we're doing for charity. So my partner grew up in Sri Lanka. He recently went back and was talking to some people in the village, and they don't have any clean water. So our goal is to raise like $5,000. We've in the past raised money for school, to build a school and to build a house for a family. So we're trying to raise $5,000 to provide clean water to 300 people for the next 15 years, and it's only going to cost $5,000. Currently, they have to travel either 2 hours into like the close next village to get like clean water, or they have to drink out of like the disgusting river. So we have a GoFundMe, which I don't know where to link it. I could probably link it in my bio.
We'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll send you guys a link. But yeah, that would be like, if you guys want to support, that would be like probably the best way is just donate to that. But yeah,
cool. biggest donator, send us a screenshot and you'll get an hour with me and John. Nice little consulting call
for free,
whatever you want.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
The rates a couple racks an hour.
It's like a few racks an hour.
That'd be sick.
But no, that's dope. That's cool.
Yeah.
Once again, shout out to our wonderful sponsors, our guests, our sponsors. Everyone that helps us make this channel the way that it is.
Watching this,
yeah.
If you got this far, comment below. I'm curious if you got this far.
Hope so. I hope I was that interesting.
Yeah,
100%.
And that concludes episode 50.
Catch you guys on the next one. Yeah, 50.
See you in 51.
50. Later.